Hello, everyone. How are we doing today on our almost last Wednesday of April? And this month is flying by. Our event is getting closer and closer. So we definitely want you to make sure that you get your tickets and that you get your hotel rooms because it's going to be here before you know it. All right, let's see. I see Chrissy on. Let's get her on. Come on, internet. There we go. There she is.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. As long as it stops snowing outside, I'll be okay.
Oh, no, it's not snowing here, so I am happy about that.
Yeah, no, we got like 6 inches the other night, and it's just been flurrying, and I'm just like, just please, I'm over it. I'm so over it.
I know. There's supposed to be a frost here in the Salem area.
Yes.
Tonight, and I'm like, oh no, my flowers and my plants, my herbs.
I know. I haven't put everything's inside. I have like one of those like little greenhouse things.
I do too, yeah.
I didn't put it outside yet, and I thought about it the other day because I'm by Lake George, New York.
Okay.
So I'm about 3 hours away. So
yeah, that's pretty out there. I've been out there. It's nice.
Yeah, so I'm ready. Okay, I'm just ready. And you just came back from the warm, right?
I was out on the West Coast. I was out in the desert and in LA for a few days. And it's so funny. I was visiting a friend in the desert, and I think the prior week it was like in the 90s, like it was super hot. Wow. And then the New England girls show up to hang out with her. She's from here originally too. And it was like 37 one of the mornings we got. We're like, we're sorry, we brought the cold weather.
Right, that's just not right. Oh, that stings. Oh my god.
But it warmed up, and like,
yes.
You know, she is in the high desert. When we went down into the lower desert, it was like in the 70s. It was fine. Fine.
Yeah. See, that's wonderful. I know.
Right.
My friend lives in Vegas, and she's like, yeah, it's so cold today. It's like 70. I'm like,
okay.
Like summer weather. What are you talking about? So let me just introduce you real quick, and then we'll get to it. Hi everyone, this is Jen from the Witch City Tarot Gathering Planning Coven, and I am hosting interviews, just interviewing all of our presenters, all of our vendors, just so that you can get to know them when you come and visit us. And you'll be like, oh, hey, I remember her or him or they or whoever it may be. And also just a little housekeeping. And I said it before when I got on too, make sure to get your tickets because they are limited, and also to make sure to get your hotels. I know in a couple of our posts, and I'll make another post just recommending a couple places, but they do sell out pretty fast. So today we have Chrissy Vaccaro, and she's from Wild Sea Wellness, and she is presenting, but she's presenting in a little bit of a different way, right? So why don't you tell us a little bit about your business and what you do?
Yeah, so will be, and I did this last year, will be presenting, or rather teaching a yoga class, or 2 yoga classes. I'm a yoga teacher, wellness practitioner. One of the many things that I do, I also work with, I do a lot of herbalism work and magical herbalism and all those good things. So my business, I have a very traditional yoga practice in many ways, but I blend it with some of the things that make me me. So my connection to nature, being a witch or identifying as a witch since I was a small child, like just all those aspects I sort of weave into the story. And I think it was maybe, it must have been 4 years ago, I guess it was. It was Chris Gerke who actually was like, oh, the links between yoga, like the asana practice, the poses, and the tarot. And I was like, so we started looking into it more. We're like, wow, there's a lot of connections. And so the first ever class that I did where we blended yoga and the tarot was in 2018. It was actually a midsummer event at the House of Seven Gables here in Salem.
Okay.
And so from there it's shifted and whatever, and what I will be teaching this coming year is the same thing. So there's a class for the major arcana and for the minor arcana.
Oh, all right.
And both classes really, it's really cool, and for folks who know the tarot, but it's also cool for people who are maybe less familiar with it or have a very strong yoga practice. When you're learning the tarot, it's sort of this active learning that you do by actually, moving your body in certain ways that help you then remember, oh yeah, that's what this signifies. And
yeah, I love that.
Body. And I know that this card is representative of these attributes, and it can really help sort of put those pieces together with that kinetic learning.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so it's pretty fun. Thank you, June. The first class will be on the Saturday will be the major arcana, and it'll be more of a vinyasa flow, so more of like a traditional yoga movement. And then the second class is the minor arcana. And last year I did more of a kind of restorative class. So it was a little bit more chill and quiet, and we focused on the elements that the different suits are related to, and some of the significance of the numbers and all that, and it was woven into the practice. So that's what will be in store again for this year. And especially for folks who are regular practitioners, I know myself, when I go away anywhere to an event or vacation, it's like if I don't practice, I feel kind of off.
Right,
so
totally.
It's great for people who practice regularly who are coming. And then it's also great for people who don't practice regularly and really just want to experience sort of that kinetic, connection to really help the brain like absorb what those meanings really are.
Yeah, and I love that for the second day you're doing that more of a restorative, because
people are going to
need a lot of business going on Saturday. Lots of business. We have the Witches Night Market. Yeah, and we have all sorts of things going. So that is perfect to try out. And it's definitely, there's no pressure, but if you are curious about it, anyone coming, you can always find Chrissy and ask her about it, and she will gladly explain to you what exactly is going to happen, especially if you've never done yoga or anything before, because there's definitely ways to modify, right? There's always a modification, right?
Always. And if you want to just come, if you're like, I don't really do much yoga at all, and like I tell my people all the time coming to classes, like if you're having a day that you want to just lay in Shavasana, you can do that. You can totally just lay there and listen and just absorb the energy.
Yeah.
It's energy that gets created in a group. And we're so fortunate this year that we'll be able to practice in person. We were able to do local folks last year.
Okay.
But then we did most of it. We had the live stream option as well. So I'm really excited that we can actually be together, because it does make such a difference.
I know. I'm so excited for it. I love doing that. I love it. Yeah. It's gonna be
and I'll be around the whole weekend off and on, and I'll be vending. I think it's on Saturday.
Okay.
Some of the arts and herbal things that I work on. So
okay, cool.
For the folks, yeah.
What do you make? What kind of herbal concoctions do you have? What will be at the market?
I have a business partner. We make a lot of locally foraged burning bundles and salves and things like that, but we're both artists as well, so I have a bunch of weavings and she has a bunch of art that she makes, so
cool.
Lots of cool witchy things that people may want. So.
Yes, yeah.
Chris, I was just singing your praises about what it was. It like 4 years ago when we were like, oh, let's do a yoga tarot thing for summer solstice, and it worked out well.
Yes. No, I love that idea. So Chrissy will be at, and what's your partner's name?
Lauren.
Lauren.
That's under our group that we do our arts and herbal stuff called the Chaos Factor. So we'll be vending, and we're stoked.
Yeah. So anybody that's looking for any of those goodies, make sure you look for Chrissy and find all the goods that she makes. And I love that it's all locally foraged too. That's really awesome, because I don't think people realize how much is actually around them.
I know.
And we're going out and we're buying all these things from all these different places, and it's like, guys, just go outside.
Yeah, I know. We either forage it, or both of us are gardeners, so it's either from our gardens or somewhere where we collect it locally. Always.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I live on top of a mountain, So I have, I just going outside, there's all sorts of things around, and everybody's just like, where did you get that? I'm like, my yard.
Yeah, exactly. It's wonderful.
It's awesome. So now, do you do tarot readings, or are you just like to throw cards around for yourself?
I read tarot, but I mostly read it sort of informally, or it's woven into classes. I don't usually do, like professional readings.
Yeah.
Actually, now, I've done some tarot classes, I guess you would call it, or workshops with Chris, and she's a great teacher.
Oh my gosh, she's fantastic.
Yeah,
and she always has She always has the goodies too. So that's always wonderful. So, do you pull tarot cards at all, like when you're doing practice or anything like that for yourself usually?
Yeah, so I usually do a little spread for myself daily. I have like 2 decks that I really use a lot, and it's always funny. They're very different. One's just the Rider-Waite, and another one is a different botanical deck that I have. And it's so funny when when I go to practice on my own, I'll pull a spread, and then sometimes if I'm just like in my living room with the other cards, I'll pull a spread. It's always interesting, like how the same cards show up, so I'm like, okay, well, the universe is telling me something.
Yes.
So yeah, it depends. Sometimes I'll pull them before I practice, but sometimes I'll practice or I'll meditate or whatever, and then I'll pull them because I'll feel very, focused at that point and like open.
Yeah, your intuition's just like pulling all the things in, right?
Right. So I kind of just rely on that to figure out what it is that I want to.
Right. No, I love that. And do you have any advice for anyone who does practice yoga and would like to incorporate tarot in?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess my biggest thing is using your intuition, right? So when we practice yoga, the idea is that we're cultivating this connection between our mind, our body, our spirit. So it's yoking together all those things, right? Because in our everyday life, we feel scattered and we feel sort of disjunct in many ways. So coming into a physical practice or even the meditation, I mean, that's real yoga, the meditation. The asana, the movement is sort of secondary. But all of that together can really help open the mind space, calm the body, calm the mind, calm the body, right? It's all interrelated. So for me, getting into that place, into that space is what allows whatever messages might be out there that the tool of the tarot can help us uncover.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is to, if you're going to start to blend those two, is to use them both to cultivate the intuition. But the yoga practice is in many ways very accessible. Whereas folks who are learning tarot might feel like, oh God, there's so many things to memorize. Like, we know that that's not the case, but a lot of times people feel that way. So I feel like the practice, it calms you enough. It gets you into that space so that you can be like, you know what, I don't have to memorize anything. I'm just gonna see what this picture on this card evokes for me.
Right.
I really find that that's helpful.
Yeah, I love that. And it's almost like kind of triggering almost like muscle memory too. Exactly. Like to kind of remember, if you do a certain pose for a certain card, that it'll, kind of trigger that for you so that you remember it better. Kind of like what you were saying at the beginning too, right? Yeah,
exactly.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. So why don't you tell everybody where they can find you online?
Yeah. So my Instagram handle, if you can see on here, is @WildSeaWellness. And there's also a Facebook page, but then my website itself is just wildseawellness.com.
Okay.
And all my media is all linked off of that.
Got it.
And I try to be pretty regular about updating my website.
Right.
I usually do Facebook, events and whatnot. And I'm pretty good about Instagram stories and Instagram events and or rather posting about Instagram on Instagram about events. So that's where you can find all my stuff. I have a regular series. Well, it's semi-regular. It's a full moon yoga series that happens at the House of the Seven Gables. And in the summertime, starting in May, we'll be outdoors on the lawn. And that's always a really awesome evening adventure. And I do a lot of other pop-ups. I have some coming up. and I teach regularly on Friday mornings at Earthly Bodies Yoga Studio in Beverly, Mass.
Okay.
So that's where you can find me on a regular basis. But otherwise, I'm kind of like, I pop up where I pop up.
There you go. So you got to be subscribed to all the things so you know where Chrissy
so you know
next.
What's going on.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me for a little while. And I'm excited to meet you and do your yoga class.
I know. I'm so excited for the summer. It's just like every once in a while, like it's like I forget that it's happening. Then I'm like, oh, wait, it's happening. And it's going to be person. Yeah, it's so good.
I know. That's what I keep going through. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the end of April. Then it's going to be May. And we're going to be here before we know it. So I am so excited. I'm so excited about it. And then everybody in person, it's going to be so much fun. So I thank you. I appreciate you. And I will see you in July.
All right. Thanks, Jen. Nice talking to you.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.